Hey guys, it's MMA Vulture coming at you live with Dana White's Contender Series Week 10 final picks and weigh-in recap. And we're going to go ahead and jump into the first battle of the night, being Mohamed Adu versus Jonathan Micallef. And in this one, I'm going to go ahead and go with Mohamed Adu. I think he's going to be the better striker. I think he's a tough, durable fighter that has good striking with a quick, stiff jab. He does have knockout power. He's got snappy low and high kicks, so he mixes up his shots very well. In the grappling department, I feel like he's a decent grappler, a pretty good grappler. I think he has strong takedowns. I think his takedown defense is actually really good, and he has quick get-ups. I feel like his cardio is definitely going to be better than Jonathan Micallef because he's gone multiple rounds before and has not showed any signs of fatigue or slowing down. I feel like in this fight he is also going to be physically stronger than Jonathan. And he's going to fare well in the grappling department, which is where I think Jonathan has a slight edge over him in. I think Jonathan is a decent striker with a heavy 1-2, has good high kicks, and mixes up his shots to the body and to the head pretty well, has quick combinations. I feel like he's a better grappler, though. I feel like that's really where he shines. He's got strong takedowns. He maintains control of you when he gets you down. He has good ground and pound. His takedown defense is pretty good. So I feel like this is going to be a very good match between these two. A brawl, to be completely honest. Because on the feet, I'm going to give it to Mohamed. I think he's definitely going to be the cleaner striker and the more technical striker here. I think Jonathan is going to have a slight edge over him, like I said, in the grappling department. But I think Mohamed is going to fare well in that department and snub Jonathan's takedowns. And I think Mohamed could honestly level change, which he kind of does in mixing in his shots with his level changes. And I feel like he could get a takedown of his own against Jonathan, in which I feel like he could also maintain control. It's not like Mohamed has terrible grappling skills. I feel like he has fairly decent grappling skills, and it's not as wide of a gap as maybe some people suggest that Jonathan maybe has a complete dominant ground game advantage. I don't think so. I think we're going to see Mohamed's ground game shine a little bit more than people are expecting, and I think Mohamed has pretty sneaky submissions. I think Mohamed's going to beat Jonathan Micallef, and we're going to see a explosive, a tough, durable fighter out of Mohamed and a great fight between these two. Let's go ahead and look at the weigh-in photos on these two, in which we have Micallef first. He looks strong, he looks jacked, he looks lean for this division, he really does. And then let's look at Mohamed Adu. Same thing, looks strong, looks ready, looks healthy. I can't wait for a brawl between these two. And let's look at the face-off between these two, in which you could tell Micallef is slightly taller. I do feel as Mohamed is a little bit thicker. I think that this is going to be a great fight between these two. I really do. And let's look at the odds, in which we have Mohamed Adu sitting at a plus 120, so he is the underdog here. And then Jonathan Micallef sitting at a negative 150. I like Mohamed Adu. I see the plus money. I see value in the plus money here. I think that he's the more explosive fighter. I think he's going to fare well in the grappling department against Micallef. I think that he's got tricky submissions. He's got great striking. He mixes up his shots very well. He level changes very well. I think that Mohamed Adu is going to be a great fighter and one to definitely watch this weekend. I think he gets it done against Jonathan Micallef, but Jonathan Micallef is no easy task. He's a great fighter as well. And the over 1.5 sitting at a negative 225, under 1.5 sitting at a plus 185. I like the over 1.5 sitting at negative 225. I see a lot of value in that. I think this goes to third. I honestly think this goes to decision. I think Mohamed Adu is going to outstrike him, overwhelm him, mix in those level changes and get the takedowns and control Jonathan Micallef on the ground. Give me Mohamed to beat Jonathan Micallef. And let's move along to the next bout. in which we have a chick fight in Leslie Hernandez versus Julieta Martinez. And I'm going with the route of Julieta Martinez, the Ninja Ferret is her nickname, apparently. I think that her Taekwondo is really good. I feel like she's a solid striker with clean, quick combinations. She's got snappy head kicks that you won't see coming. She's a good grappler as well. So she's not only a solid striker, she's also a solid grappler. I feel like she's got devastating ground and pound. If she can get you down there and maintain control, she will land some devastating ground and pound. You do not want to be under Martinez, Julieta Martinez. You really do not want to be. She is very strong in the clinch. I like Julieta Martinez here. I think she's going to outdog Leslie Hernandez, but that's no small task. Leslie Hernandez is a dog. She's a solid striker with knockout power, with clean, quick combinations as well. She's got nasty knees up the middle, which I do see being used in this. If Julieta tries to take this down to the ground, I feel like Leslie could land those nasty knees up the middle. And then Leslie is also a decent grappler. I feel like she has all right takedowns, but her main thing is that she is a good scrambler. Whenever somebody tries to get her down, she's good at scrambling away, creating that space. She uses her legs to create space when she's on the bottom, so she knows what she's doing, but she's not the best grappler. I'm picking Julieta Martinez. I think she's going to outstrike her, overwhelm her, mix in those takedowns because I feel like she has the clear-cut grappling advantage in this. I feel like she's a solid striker and going to be able to fare well in the striking against Leslie Hernandez, which does have that knockout power and does have nasty knees and elbows. But I think Julieta is going to outdog her and outstrike her and use the grappling to her ability, push her up against the fence, make her uncomfortable, land those nasty inside elbows and knees. And I think that Julieta Martinez is going to be able to beat Leslie Hernandez. And let's go ahead and look at the weigh-in photos on this, in which they are right here. First, we have Leslie Hernandez looking jacked, looking happy to be on the scales, looking ready to get that contract, honestly. But I don't see it happening with her opponent. I think her opponent is going to beat her. I think Julieta Martinez is someone to definitely look out for in the women's division. She is a savage, man. She's got all around great striking and great grappling. I think it's going to be a fun fight between these two. And let's look at the face-offs. They both look jacked. They both look ready for war. As you guys can see, Leslie Hernandez is actually taller. I think that it's going to be Julieta still. I think her being tall isn't really going to matter because I feel like Julieta is going to be able to work from be able to enter the pocket with ease and mix in her takedowns with her shots, which will leave Leslie kind of wondering what's coming at her, if she's getting hit with a kick, if she's getting hit with a punch, or if she's level changing into a takedown. And I feel like Julieta does a great job of mixing up her shots, and I don't think Leslie's going to see it coming, and I think she's going to outdog her, outperform her, outwork her, outstrike her, and outgrapple her. Give me Julieta to beat Leslie Hernandez. Let's look at the odds on this fight, in which we have Julieta Martinez sitting at a negative 117 and Leslie Hernandez sitting at a negative 103. I like the Julieta Martinez route. I think that she is going to be the overall better fighter out of the two, and I do think that this definitely goes to decision. Over 2.5 sitting at a negative 245. I see value in that. I really do. Under 2.5 sitting at plus 195. You get a lot of value in the over 2.5 in this fight. I'm guessing they see it maybe ending via submission or knockout. Decision sitting at plus 125 for Hernandez, plus 175 for Martinez. I like the Martinez by decision. And let's move along to the next bout on this card, which is Yadier DelValle versus Antônio Monteiro. And I'm going with Antônio Monteiro. I think he's going to be the better fighter here. I think his forward pressure fight style is going to give problems to Yadier. I think that Antonio is a good striker with power in his hands. He's got snappy low and high kicks. He mixes up his shots very, very well. He is a good grappler with strong, strong takedowns and great level changes into his takedowns. He maintains control of you well when he gets you down. And when he gets you down, he also knows how to advance positions really well. He will advance positions like no tomorrow. He also has the striking advantage, I believe, in this fight. I think that Yadier is not going to want to strike with him on the ground or on the feet. I feel like he's the better striker. I think Yadier is a good striker with a clean, quick jab and nasty knees and elbows. Throws a little wild at times, I noticed, but that's not really his main area. His main area is the grappling division. He's a solid grappler with strong takedowns, good scrambling abilities, tricky submissions. He likes to go for guillotines a lot, I noticed. And he also is going to have the grappling advantage here. But I'm going to go with Antonio Monteiro to beat Yadier because I think that in the striking, it's going to be 100% Antonio. And I feel like it's going to be hard for Yadier to close the distance on Antonio. I feel like in terms of grappling, I feel like Antonio still has good grappling abilities. He is a pretty good grappler that knows how to maintain control of you, knows how to advance positions if he gets you down. So he is no slouch in the grappling department. I'm going with Antonio Monteiro to outwork Yadier and outstrike him. And maybe even end it early because he is a great striker. And let's go ahead and look at these two on the scales. As soon as we can find them, they got this whole thing. Antonio Monteiro, there we go. As you guys can see, looking jacked, looking lean, looking happy, looking ready for whoa. And his tattoos are absolutely sick. And let's go ahead and look at Yadier on the scales. He's up. Alright, and same thing. He's looking jacked. He looks healthy. He looks mean. He looks ready for war. I'm excited for this fight as well. There is a lot of close fights on this one, on these cards, on this card. A lot of coin flips. And let's look at the face-off, in which you guys can see Antonio Monteiro's. Honestly, they look the same height, but he looks maybe slightly taller. Very slight taller. And these two both staring each other down. Absolute sick brawl gonna go down between these two, I believe. And let's look at the odds on this fight, in which we have Yadier sitting at a -105 and Antonio sitting at a -125. I like Antonio Monteiro. I think that he's going to win this. I think he's going to be the better fighter, the overall better fighter. I think that Antonio definitely is going to want to stay on his feet. I don't really think he wants this to go to the grappling area, but I think he's still going to fare well in that department against Yadier. Give me Antonio Monteiro to beat Yadier DelValle. Over 2.5 sitting at a -175, under 2.5 sitting at a +145. I like the under on this. I think Antonio Monteiro could catch Yadier DelValle on the feet, and that's what I'm going to call. I think he knocks him out. And let's go ahead and move along to the next bout, in which we have Nick Piccininni versus Luis Gurule. And Nick is actually coming back from my previous Contender Series that he won against Jack Duffy. So he is returning against Luis Gurule, who I am actually picking. I was going to pick Nick Piccininni, but I'm switching to Luis Gurule. I had to rewatch their footage between these two, and I think Luis Gurule's fight style is going to give problems to Nick Piccininni. I think his constant forward pressure is going to give Nick Piccininni a lot of problems. He's a good striker with quick combination. He likes to throw volume. He's got snappy kicks. He's a good grappler with heavy cage pressure. He will sit there and lock you up against the fence and clinch with you. He's got decent takedowns. His cardio is really good. He's got the striking advantage, I believe, in this fight. I think Nick Piccininni is a decent striker with a quick, stiff jab. He mixes up his shots to the body and to the head very well. He's got nice low kicks, but his main area is the grappling area. He's a solid grappler with strong takedowns, maintains control of you, has a great body lock, has the obvious grappling advantage here. I think that Nick Piccininni is live. I really do think he is live to win against Louis Gurule, but I think Louis Gurule is going to give him problems. I think his fight style is what's going to make this fight, and I think that it's going to be an absolute brawl between these two. I think in terms of the grappling, I think Nick definitely has the advantage. I think that Louis is going to be able to fare well. I think the problem is going to lie in Nick Piccinini's gas tank. I think that if Louis puts on the pace that he normally does against his fighters, I think we could see Nick Piccininni start to gas out, start to slow down, and then we could see Louis Gurule start to take over and start to outstrike him, outwork him, and overwhelm him. I think Nick is live earlier in this fight. I think as the fight goes on, it's going to start to favor Louis, and we will see this Saturday. I'm going with Louis Gurule to beat Nick Piccininni. And let's look at the scales for these two, in which we have Nick Piccininni first. Looks jacked, looks healthy, coming back to get the contract this time. We'll see. Won the first time against Jack Duffy, but just didn't get the contract. We're going to see if he can do it this time. And let's look at Louis Gurule. He looks jacked. He looks healthy. He looks ready for war. He's got those sick tattoos on his chest. I think he could get this done here. I really do. And let's look at the face-off here. As you can tell, they look the same height. Nick looks slightly taller. I think this is going to be an absolute brawl between these two, and it's going to be a great, great fight. I love how so many of these fights are basically coin flips. There are not very wide of odds on any of these. And let's look at the odds, in which Louis Gurule is sitting at a -114, Nick Piccininni -116. Like I said, odds ain't really wide on any of these fights mainly. Over 2.5, -175, under 2.5, +145. I think this goes to decision. I think that Louis Gurule, as the fight goes on, is going to get better, is going to be the better fighter, outstrike, outwork, and be the better fighter and beat Nick Piccininni via decision. Give me Louis Gurule. And let's go ahead and move to the main event of this fight in Nick Klein versus Heraldo Souza. And if you guys haven't, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and let's jump right into these two, in which I am actually going to go with Heraldo Souza. I think that he is the better all-around fighter. I think he's a good striker with a quick, stiff jab. He's got solid kicks. He's got nasty knees and elbows. He's a good grappler. So he's not only a good striker, he's a good grappler with strong takedowns. He scrambles well. He's got the obvious striking advantage, I feel like, in this. I feel like even in the grappling department, I feel like he's going to be able to fare well in the grappling department. I feel like Nick Klein is a decent striker with a clean jab, snappy low and high kicks, solid grappler with strong takedowns, amazing body lock pressure, maintains control of you when he gets you down, and definitely has the grappling advantage in this one. I think that Heraldo Souza has been up against some good competition versus Nick Klein has been he's been up against some pretty good competition too. I just feel like the competition on Heraldo Souza's side is definitely a little bit harder and a little bit more competitive, but I think that this is going to be an insane fight between these two, in which I'm picking Heraldo Souza. I think Nick Klein is definitely live with his grappling abilities. I mean, his grappling abilities are definitely there. I think Heraldo Souza has good takedown defense, which is what I'm counting on here, because I think if Nick Klein gets him down, Heraldo Souza's in big, big trouble. And I think Heraldo Souza is going to maintain distance in this fight. I feel like he's going to strike from the outside, piece apart Nick Klein, pick him apart, and kind of beat him via decision. That's my call here. I think that he could land some nice knees from Heraldo's side, seeing as Nick Klein likes to level change and sometimes telegraphs them. So I feel like Heraldo could use those knees to his ability and catch Nick Klein coming in. But give me Heraldo Souza to beat Nick Klein. In which, let's look at the weigh-ins. As you guys see, we have Heraldo Souza here first. Looks jacked, looks healthy. Got that sick flower tattoo on his forearm. I can't wait for this main event. There is so many coin flips on this fight. And then you got Nick Klein doing the lat spread. It looks like on the weigh-ins, in the weigh-ins. He looks savage. His tattoo is absolutely sick going across his chest. He looks jacked. He looks healthy, man. This is going to be an absolute war between these two. As you guys see the face-off, definitely an intense face-off. I think it's going to be an insane main event. And let's look at the odds on this, in which we have Nick Klein sitting at a plus 140, Heraldo Souza sitting at a negative 170. I like Heraldo Souza. I feel like he's going to outwork, outdog, outstrike Nick Klein, and it's going to be insane. I feel like Nick Klein is definitely live in the grappling department. He is a dangerous submission artist. I think Heraldo Souza is just going to be able to maintain distance, pick him apart, and ultimately get the better of Nick Klein. Over 1.5 sitting at a negative 165. I like that too. I do feel like this is definitely going to go to the decisions. I think Heraldo Souza gets it done here, and I am very excited for this week's cards. I really like how a lot more of these are a lot closer than previous Contender Series, which I feel like are very wide. And in this case, dude, a lot of these fights are very close, as you guys can see. Plus 140, negative 170 for Nick Klein and Heraldo Souza, negative 114, negative 116 for Luis Gurule and Nick Piccininni, Yadier DelValle, negative 105, Antônio Monteiro, negative 125. So a lot of these are neck and neck. They're coin flips. These are going to be exciting fights to watch. I am going to be watching these like a hawk. And I have a lot of confidence in a couple of these. I like Mohamed as the plus money, and I like Heraldo Souza. I really do. And if you guys haven't, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace!